Welcome Prime News on My Media, Prime Television, live from Douala, Cameroon's economic capital. Now today marks exactly 39 years since Cameroon's first president, Amadou Ahidjo, resigned as president of the United Republic of Cameroon. The former president announced his resignation on November 4, 1982 through a speech broadcast on national radio. In the following report, Joy Ngong revisits the atmosphere surrounding the resignation.
4th of November 1982, 39 years ago today, the one who was the very first president of Cameroon since the country obtained independence in 1960, announced, against all expectations, his decision to resign from his functions as president of the United Republic of Cameroon.
Camerounaises, Camerounais, mes chers compatriotes, j'ai décidé de démissionner de mes fonctions de président de la République unie du Cameroun. Cette décision prendra effet le samedi 6 novembre 1982 à 10 heures. En cette circonstance capitale, je voudrais du fond du cœur remercier toutes celles et tous ceux qui, depuis bientôt 25 ans, ont accordé leur confiance et apporté leur aide dans l'accomplissement de nombreuses tâches à la tête de l'État.
In his surprise announcement on national radio, the 58-year-old Mr. Ahidjo said his resignation would be effective on Saturday, November 6, 1982, but gave no reasons. However, according to several sources, the newspapers published the day after this decision, Amadou Ahidjo's sudden resignation was based on health grounds, citing diabetes and stomach ulcer. In his farewell message, he invited all Cameroonians to grant, without reservation, their confidence and assistance to his constitutional successor, Mr. Paul Biya.
J'invite toutes les Camerounaises et tous les Camerounais à accorder sans réserve leur confiance et à apporter leur concours à mon successeur constitutionnel, M. Paul Biya. Il mérite la confiance de tous à l'intérieur et à l'extérieur. Je vous exhorte à demeurer un peuple uni, patriote, travailleur, digne et respecté. Je prie Dieu Tout-Puissant afin qu'il continue à assurer au peuple camerounais la protection et l'aide nécessaire à son développement dans la paix, l'unité et la justice. Vive le Cameroun!
Amadou Ahidjo was replaced as president 2 days later by his constitutional successor to the Supreme Magistracy, Paul Biya, who was until then Prime Minister of the United Republic of Cameroon.
Do you solemnly swear before God and man to devote all your efforts to preserving, protecting, and defending the Constitution and the laws of the United Republic of Cameroon, to watch over the common will of the nation, and to uphold and defend the unity, integrity, and independence of the Cameroon fatherland? I do so swear.
Amadou Ahidjo had led the former French-mandated territory to independence in 1960. Part of the neighboring region, which had been under a British mandate as Southern Cameroon, voted to join Cameroon in 1961 in a federation. This was changed to a unitary state in 1972. Ahidjo resigned after serving for 22 years as president of the United Republic of Cameroon.
In Bamenda, chief town of the Northwest region, 3 persons have been shot dead and 1 is currently receiving treatment at the Bamenda Regional Hospital. They were shot this afternoon at Bingfibe, a neighborhood in Mankon, Bamenda 2 subdivision, by armed men believed to be separatist fighters. The three The 3 men, amongst which one includes owner of a popular snack, Alenjoke, were executing a project at the abandoned Bamenda 2 council and were reportedly shot on their way back from the site. The incident, described by many as barbaric, has left inhabitants of Bamenda in shock as many rushed to the scene. The corpses of the 3 victims of today's attack were transported to the Bamenda Regional Hospital pending burial. Now, some students of Elik Esono in Yaoundé, Cameroon's political capital, are currently under custody after they were caught with hard drugs and dangerous objects on campus. This incident adds to many that have been recorded in the school milieu since the start of this academic year 2021-2022. We stay in Yaoundé, where Isakam workers took to the streets this 4th day of November 2021 after promises made to them were not fulfilled. The angry workers who resumed work on October 30 were seen this morning calling on their employer to pay their wages. Nora Kakebi completes the story.
Workers of the Waste Collection and Disposal Company, Hisakam, in Cameroon's political capital, Yaoundé, have gone on strike today, November 4, dropping down their work tools and equally barring the entrance to their employees' office after promises were not met. The disgruntled Hisakam workers, who had resumed work on October 30th, decided to stop work today as a result of incomplete payment of their salaries. The workers plan on extending the strike action as a call on their colleagues in Douala and Bafoussam to join them. It should be recalled that only last week, the unsatisfied workers of Cameroon's Hygiene and Sanitation Company had planned to go on a general strike if management failed to settle their 2 months unpaid salaries. However, after negotiations with management, the workers called off the strike. Sadly, the management of the Garbage and Disposal Company did not respect their own side of the bargain. This lack of trust has triggered the employees to take to the streets again as they are heard screaming and asking for their rightful payments. Before now, inhabitants of Yaoundé witnessed the rapid and evolving change as far as keeping the city clean was concerned. But today, the story is different. The streets get dirty by the day with huge garbage heaps, and the fact that the number of workers seen on duty continues to drop because they are unsatisfied with working conditions.
Now, some Cameroonian citizens alongside nationals of other countries residing in Equatorial Guinea have been arrested and detained in the capital, Malabo. The reasons for their arrest is not known, but according to the ambassador to Equatorial Guinea, no Cameroonian has been repatriated. Details with Eileen Sama.
Claude Owono Mengele, the Cameroonian ambassador to Equatorial Guinea, has refuted claims on social media that Cameroonian nationals have been repatriated back to their country following a manhunt carried out by the Equatorial Guinean authorities few days back. This information is contained in a press release signed by the diplomat on Wednesday, November 3, 2021. He explained that some Cameroonian citizens were arrested alongside nationals of other countries living in Malabo on October 30th and November 1st, 2021, and detained in police stations in the city of Bata. Claude Owono added that the reasons for their arrest is not yet established. However, he took the disposition to provide the Cameroonian citizens detained in Malabo with some basic necessities like foodstuff, hygiene and sanitary products on Tuesday. The head of the Cameroonian diplomacy in the neighboring country with which Cameroon shares cooperation ties also debunked rumors that the Cameroonian citizens have been subjected to inhuman treatment, while emphasizing that none has been repatriated. It is worth recalling that images of people grouped together in a congested room and lying on the floor made rounds on social media networks since the beginning of this week.
Our chiefs in Fako Division, Southwest region of Cameroon, have debunked rumors that they create villages overnight to grab land ceded by the Cameroon Development Corporation. The statement was made by the Vice President of the Southwest Chiefs Conference during the coronation of Chief Esoka Elvis J as third-class ruler of the revived Wojomba village in Limbewan subdivision. Get full details in the following report with Kuma Honore.
His Royal Highness Chief Esoka Elvis Nje is the new chief of the revived Wonjamba village. He was recently installed as the pioneer chief of Wonjamba village in a colorful coronation ceremony which took place at the CDC Clubhouse, Moliwe. The enthronement ritual was presided over by Chief Ekoka Molindo, Vice President of the Southwest Chiefs Conference, alongside a College of Chiefs from the Limbe Chiefs Conference. Speaking to the press shortly after the coronation ritual, Chief Ekoka Molindo said he was happy that Wonjamba village has resurrected and the villagers are ready to go back to their ancestral roots. He used the occasion to debunk claims that Fako chiefs create new villages overnight just to grab land from the Cameroon Development Corporation.
I am here with my colleagues from Limbe 1, Limbe 2, Limbe 3 and Fako to install the new chief of Wonjamba village, which is around the Moliwe area, which was now taken over by the Germans to build their plantations, and the village was now removed further into the equatorial rainforest. And for now, the grandchildren of this village have come together to reconstitute their villages.
Chief Esoka Elvis Nje called on the sons and daughters of Wonjamba village to rally behind him so that development can come to the ancestral village, which was almost extinct.
The first thing to do is to start the plantation of my notables so that they know to bring back the village. The village will not be called a village if not with buildings. It needs to be inhabited so that.
Earlier on, the chairman of the Wonjamba Village Traditional Council, Mola Luma Njoke Thomas, disclosed that a village development plan for the village has been drafted pending validation from the administration, which is yet to allocate portions of land to the village. He, however, pleaded with the administration to speed up with the allocation of portions of land to the village for development to follow. The enthronement of Chief Esoka Elvis Nje as the traditional ruler of Wonjamba village is coming barely 4 months after a consultative talks to designate him as the chief designate of Wonjamba village, and was later endorsed by the senior divisional officer for Fako, Emmanuel Ngamba Ledu, a prefectorial order confirming him as the pioneer third-class traditional ruler of Wonjamba village.
We go back to the Northwest region where Fakum Jokem Andalis has been installed as the new divisional officer for Bafut, despite security challenges from separatist fighters to disrupt the installation ceremony. He was commissioned into office by the senior divisional officer for Mezam, Simon Emimo, with calls to protect the population and to facilitate the return of peace. Charles Kibwa reports from Bamenda.
Despite secessionist threats to disrupt the installation of the new DO for Bafut, Bafut has a new DO, Fakum Njoken Andelis. He was installed in Bafut despite security challenges, given Bafut is one of the hit zones since the ongoing Anglophone crisis, with infrastructures and mainstream education damaged and economy paralyzed. Mezam SDO Simo Emilmo installing Fakum Njoken Andelis call on him to work towards the security of his territory, protect the population and ensure the respect of anti-COVID measures, ensure the over 1,800 locals in Bafut strive for peace and revive the locality now deserted.
First of all, that he should protect the population and their property, and at the same time, the integrity of the state.
The new DO will have the task to bring new impetus to Bafut with a lot of expectations to the mayor of Bafut Council, Ngwakongo Lawrence.
Bafut has today opened his hands to welcome him, and as a young, dynamic administrator who has come into Bafut, we equally need to join us to preach peace and to talk love and solidarity to these our younger brothers and sisters who are in the bushes, to see that we drop their guns and join the rest.
Fakum Njoken Andelis, before his appointment, was Bureau Chief of Recruitment at the regional delegation of Fonction Publique in the Northwest. He takes over from Didakus.
Charles Keba reports in the news out of the country. We visited Ethiopia, Nigeria, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, where state teachers are expressing displeasure of Amiga pay. Get full details in the following report. We begin today's tour on the African continent in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where state teachers in North Kivu province are pressing ahead with the strike action that started in October 2021. The teachers are expressing their displeasure over meager pay, retirement age, amongst others. Despite the National Teacher Union's calling on teachers to suspend the strike, these teachers say their demands must be made. Elsewhere, Ethiopia today commemorates the first anniversary of the launch of a government offensive in the region of Tigray, when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed ordered a response to what he called a three-thrust attack on federal army camps. In a candlelight vigil, Ethiopian military officers and soldiers commemorated the anniversary after Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on Wednesday urged citizens to back the war effort and accused rebels of trying to turn Ethiopia into Libya and Syria as anxious residents voiced support for government's measures. The anniversary comes 2 days after Ethiopia declared a nationwide state of emergency and ordered residents of Addis Ababa to be ready to defend their neighborhood and unite against the Tigrayan forces. In Nigeria, the death toll from the collapse of a high-rise building in an upscale area in the commercial capital Lagos has risen to 36 as rescue operations enter the 4th day. The 21-story building under construction in the Ikoyi district of Lagos crumbled on Monday afternoon, trapping dozens of people working on the site. So far, 36 people, including 33 men and 3 women, have been confirmed dead, while there were 9 survivors. Distressed families and friends of people trapped in the rubble have been waiting for days outside the scene as rescue operations unfold. Following the incident, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said on Wednesday the incident was a terrible national disaster and he was setting up an independent panel to investigate the causes of the collapse and prevent similar incidents in future. This report concludes the 6:30 p.m. edition of News on My Media Prime Television. My name is FON QUINTER. Coming up at exactly 7 p.m. is Prime Hour with Kum Lenat and his team. Have a great evening in the company of more programs on The African Eye. Stay with us.
Welcome